Hallelujah, for the King who is victorious. You are the awesome one. There is none like you. With you we win. You're our champion. With you we stand. We always win. You're our champion. Oh, you are the awesome one. There is none like you. With you we win. You're our champion. With you we stand. We always win. You're our champion. Oh, you are the awesome one. There is none like you. With you we win. You're our champion. With you we stand. We always win. You're our champion. Oh, we lift our hands, we lift our voice, we celebrate our champion. We sing hallelujah, for the King who is victorious. We lift our hands, we lift our voice, we celebrate our champion. We sing hallelujah, for the King who is victorious. You are the awesome one. There is none like you. With you we win. You're our champion. With you we stand. We always win. You're our champion. Oh, you are the awesome one. There is none like you. With you we win. You're our champion. With you we stand. We always win. You're our champion. Oh, you are the awesome one. There is none like you. With you we win. You're our champion. With you we stand. We always win. You're our champion. Oh, we lift our hands, we lift our voice, we celebrate our champion. We sing hallelujah, for the King who is victorious. We lift our hands, we lift our voice, we celebrate our champion. We sing hallelujah, for the King who is victorious. You are the awesome one. There is none like you. With you we win. You're our champion.
That we are able to celebrate, commemorate our Shabbat, a time of rest, a time that we rest from our daily chores, so that we may walk in obedience and complete and total compliance to the instructions of Abba Yahuwah. I want to say unto you, Baruch atah, may Abba Yahuwah continue to Baruch you on this Yom as we have come together to learn. I want to say Todah to you that thought it not robbery to come and be in class with us on this great Yom. Once again, I want to say to Messengers of Yahuwah's Kingdom of Great Belief Ministries, Todah you for the work that you do throughout the Yamim to make things ready for us on this Yom, a day of celebration and a day of rest, for making preparations for the food and just making sure that everything is in place. So as we prepare for class, we have things in order. So I want to say to you, Todah, for your commitment and your dedication to make sure that everything is flowing the way that it's supposed to flow, and it is so.
And it is so.
All right, we're going to begin with the Baruch of the Torah. I pray everyone had a restful Layla. I pray that you're ready to dive in and learn on today with us as we prepare. Let's begin with the Baruch of the Torah. Repeat with me, Baruch Yahuwah.
Baruch Yahuwah.
The Baruch one.
The Baruch one.
Baruch is Yahuwah.
Baruch is Yahuwah.
The Baruch one.
The Baruch one.
For all eternity.
For all eternity.
Baruch atah.
Baruch atah.
Yahuwah.
Yahuwah.
Our supreme one.
Our supreme one.
King of the universe.
King of the
Who
universe.
selected us from all the peoples.
Who selected us from all the peoples.
And gave us his Torah.
And gave us his Torah.
Baruch atah.
Baruch atah.
Yahuwah.
Yahuwah.
Giver of the Torah.
Giver of the Torah.
And it is so.
And it is so.
Baruch atah.
Baruch atah.
Yahuwah.
Yahuwah.
Our supreme one.
Our supreme one.
King of the universe.
King of the universe.
Who gave us the Torah of truth.
Who gave us the Torah of truth.
And implanted eternal life within us.
And implanted eternal life within us.
Baruch atah.
Baruch atah.
Yahuwah.
Yahuwah.
Giver of the Torah.
Giver of the Torah.
And it is so.
And it is so.
And it is so.
And it is so.
Come on, praise him. Praise him, praise him, praise him. He's worthy, he's worthy. As we prepare for the reading of the commandments done by Mattathias Yasharon, Deuteronomy chapter 6. Come on, praise him. I'm sorry, chapter 5. I'm sorry, Deuteronomy chapter 5. We're going to be reading chapter 5, starting with verse 6. All right.
I am Yahuwah your power, which brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim from the bed of slavery. Beth, you shall have no other power before me. You shall not make you an engraven image or any likeness of anything that is in Shemayim above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the Mayim beneath the earth. You shall not bow down yourself unto them nor serve them, for I, Yahuwah your power, am a jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the hours upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that harm me and keep my commandments. Gimel, you shall not take the name of Yahuwah your power and falsify it, for Yahuwah will not hold him guiltless that takes his name and empties it. Dalet, guard the Sabbath day to set it apart as Yahuwah your power has commanded you. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahuwah your power. In it you shall not do any work. You, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your manservant, nor your maidservant, nor your ox, nor your ass, nor any of your cattle, nor your foreigner that is within your gates, that your manservant and your maidservant may rest as well as you. And remember that you were a servant in the land of Mitzrayim, and that Yahuwah your power brought you out of there through a mighty hand and by a stretched out arm. Therefore Yahuwah your power commanded you to keep the Sabbath day. Hey, esteem your Abba and your Ima as Yahuwah your power has commanded you, that your days may be prolonged and that it may go well with you in the land which Yahuwah your power is about to give you. While you shall not murder. Zain, neither shall you commit adultery. Het, neither shall you steal. Tet, neither shall you bear false witness against your neighbor. You, neither shall you desire your neighbor's issue, neither shall you covet your neighbor's bed, his field, or his manservant, or his maidservant, his ox, or his ass, or anything that is your neighbor's. These words Yahuwah spoke unto all your assembly in the mount, out of the midst of the fire, of the cloud, and of the thick darkness, with a great voice. And he added no more. And he wrote them in 2 tables of stone and delivered them unto me. And it is so.
And it is so. And it is so. Just looking in this NIV, King James Study Bible, and I have 4 open before me, because I like to compare and I like to do a parallel of them. And just want to just kind of interject this in here. This is why I'm a stickler for making sure we're using the right tools for our study. And the reason it's important is because I've said it before, excuse me, in our study, and I just want to interject this once again, in our study of Yashayah 53, we're going to learn a whole lot. Now, I know today is the Shabbat, and we are resting, and we are going to follow the Torah portions. But I want to show you all something that's so important to our development and growth and to our learning. As I was looking at this NIV study Bible, in it, it talks about, it gives the reference for the 10 Commandments in chapter 5. But in the footnote, it comes down, and it does well till it gets down to a portion of the footnote, which is important for us to look at. And this is why I say you have to be ever so careful of what we take into account and how we do things. We're talking about reference scriptures, and I just want to show you an example of what we're going to be looking at. Yahuwah willing. Okay. It's okay. Excuse me, y'all. Now, in this reference Bible, if you have one or know somebody with one like this, you got to look at this. Look at this, what it said. Okay. In 5 and 2 as a reference scripture. Now it says here, it talks about Yahuwah's covenant with us at Horeb, which is Mount Sinai. And now being confirmed, bound to Yashrael, to Yahuwah as their absolute sovereign, and his laws and regulations as their way or our way of life. Adherence to the covenant would bring to us, Yashrael, the Baruch of Yahuwah, while breaking covenant would bring against us the punishment described as curses. We know that's in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 15 through 20. Also, you can find that in Jeremiah 31 through 34. Predicted the establishing, listen, of a new covenant, which made the Sinaitic covenant obsolete. Y'all see that?
Yeah.
And it gives the scriptures, Ibram 7 and 22, 8 and 6 through 13, chapter 10, verses 15 and 18. Now, the reason why I read that and put that out there, so whether you see this today or you see it in the future, this is why it is important that we understand that you cannot take all footnotes to establish the principles of Yahuwah, especially when it goes against what he just said. Does that not sound like that? Does that not sound contradictory? He tells us to keep the commandments, but then in the footnote, it comes right back, it comes down and says, but this makes it obsolete. Because of a what? New covenant. It's not a new covenant, it's a renewed covenant. Are y'all with me?
Yes.
The reason why, once again, I'm bringing this out is because some of us that are still new to the walk, and some that have been in the walk for a minute, we still tend to rely on the NIV, the King James Version of the scriptures, the scrolls. And so we tend to read it and even acknowledge the footnotes and even take the footnotes into not just consideration, but we use them as a platform to build our case against keeping the instructions of Abba Yahuwah. And this is where a lot of times Christianity falls off because of what is placed in the footnotes and because of the reference scriptures that they will take and force it in there to fit their views. Are y'all hearing me?
Yes.
This is why it is so important, once again, that in our time of study, we have the right material to study with. Because if we don't, we will still be studying material that will still go blatantly against the instructions of Abba Yahuwah. Now, this is somebody's, once again, this is somebody's interpretation of what they believe, according to Ibram chapter 7, verse 22, says that the instructions of Abba Yahuwah, that they are obsolete. They are not obsolete. Am I making sense today?
Yes.
They are not obsolete. And this is important for us to understand. Why? Because I said it before. We have people that are still building their lives and trying to pull away from that system of Christianity, but the material that's being used continually keeps that mindset. Well, if it's done away with, then why are we trying to keep it? Problem comes in is that you have to understand it has not been done away with. It is the person who interpret this and put the reference scripture there that basically is going off of their interpretation of what it says. So this is why they put that it was obsolete. And this is why many Christians and many of us as Hebrews continue to say that we don't have to walk in it based upon somebody's interpretation. Are y'all following me?
Yes.
Very important for us to understand. It is not obsolete. It is very important that we follow the instructions and that we walk in the instructions that he's given unto us in spite of what somebody puts in as a reference. Are y'all following me?
Yes. Yes.
Saying that we are not to follow it. Now, this is not the lesson for today, but this is just to bring us clarity and show us that if we're not careful, the very information that we use to try to build our belief in the instructions of Abba Yahuwah will be the very thing that will turn right around and cause us to negate it. Because of what is referenced and because of what somebody put in the footnote. Once again, according to this, in the NIV, chapter 5 of Debitum, and the footnote in verse 2 basically says that the covenant is obsolete, which is a lie.
Right.
So if you have an NIV Bible and you are reading it and you are reading those footnotes, disregard those notes that constantly tell you to go against the instructions of Abba Yahuwah.
That's right.
And it is so.
And it is so.
All right. Let's have a song, please. I have Yahuwah. I have Yahuwah. I have Yahuwah. It was the best thing I ever done. I have Yahuwah. I have It was the best thing I ever done. Oh, I have Yahuwah.
It was the best thing I ever done. Oh, in his arms, I feel protected. In his arms, I feel connected. In his arms, I feel protected. And there is no place I'd rather be. Oh, in his arms, I feel protected. In his arms, I feel connected. In his arms, I feel protected. And there is no place I'd rather be. Oh, it was the best thing I ever done. Oh, it was the best thing I ever done. Oh, in his arms, I feel protected. In his arms, I feel connected. In his arms, I feel protected. And there is no place I'd rather be. Oh, in your arms, I feel protected. In your arms, I feel connected. In your arms, I feel protected. And there is no place I'd rather be. Oh, in your arms, I feel protected. In your arms, I feel connected. In your arms, I feel protected. And there is no place I'd rather be. Oh, the best thing I ever done. Oh, it was the best thing I ever done. Oh, in your arms, I feel protected. In your arms, I feel connected. In your arms, I feel protected. And there is no place I'd rather be. Oh, it was the best thing I ever done.
His selection of us as a people. And to answer a quote that was placed on there, it is not for all people. This was given unto the children of Yasharal. And so it is important that we understand and that we study. As I pointed out in the beginning, whatever rendering of Bible or instructions you're reading, that is one of the key things that has caused many of confusion and many to be confused because of the interpretation of the writings. Very important. He said Yasharal is the apple of my eye. Not only that, but he called us to be a special people unto him. A special people. This was not given to the whole world. It was given to the children of Yasharal. And so it is important that we understand that. And that we understand, yes, we do not accept animal sacrifices no longer. But the only one true sacrifice is the sacrifice of Yahushua our Mashiach. So we appreciate Abba Yahuwah for what he's doing and what he's done unto us as a people. Very important. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Very important. Devarim chapter 6 verses 1 through 18. These are the commandments, the statutes and the judgments which Yahuwah your power commanded to teach you, that you might do them in the land where you are going to enter and possess it, that you might fear Yahuwah your power to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I command you, you and your son and your grandson, all the days of your life, and that your days may be prolonged. Hear therefore, O who? Yasharal, and observe to do it, that it may be well with who? With you, and that you may increase mightily as Yahuwah your power of your Abbas has promised you in the land that flows with milk and honey. Shema Yasharal. Yahuwah is our supreme one. Yahuwah is Akkad. Hear, O Yasharal, Yahuwah our supreme one. Yahuwah is Akkad. Yahuwah is specifically speaking to who? The children of Yasharal. Not to the but to the nation of Yasharal. And you shall ahab Yahuwah, your supreme one, with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. And these words which I command you this yom shall be in your what? Heart. And you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your bed, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes, to fall, to what? Bind to the mind. And you shall write them upon the posts of your bed and on your gates. And it shall be when Yahuwah your power shall have brought you into the land, which he swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Yaakov, to give you great cities which you did not build, houses full of all great things which you fill not, and wells dug which you did not dig, vineyards and olive trees which you did not plant. When you shall have eaten and be full, then beware lest you forget Yahuwah, which brought you forth out of the land of what? Mitzrayim, from the bed of slavery. Last I checked, Yasharal was in captivity in Yasharal.
That's right. That's right.
And it is so.
And it is so.
You shall fear Yahuwah your power, and serve him, and shall swear by his name. You shall not go after the power of the people which are round about you. For Yahuwah your power is a jealous power among you, lest the anger of Yahuwah your power be kindled against you, and he destroy you from off the face of the earth. You shall not tempt Yahuwah your power as you tempted him in Massah. You shall diligently keep the commandments of Yahuwah your power, and his testimonies, and his statutes, which he has what? Commanded you. And you shall do that which is right in the sight of Yahuwah, that it may be well with you, and that you may go in and possess the great land which Yahuwah swore unto your fathers. And it is so.
And it is so.
Let us have another song. Exactly.
Yahuwah prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and kodesh, tried and true, and with thanksgiving I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Yahuwah prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and kodesh, tried and true, and with thanksgiving I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Yahuwah prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and kodesh, tried and true, and with thanksgiving I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Yahuwah prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and kodesh, tried and true, and with thanksgiving I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Yahuwah prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and kodesh, tried and true, and with thanksgiving I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Yahuwah prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and kodesh, tried and true, and with thanksgiving I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Yahuwah prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and kodesh, tried and true, and with thanksgiving I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Yahuwah prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and kodesh, tried and true, and with thanksgiving I'll be a living sanctuary sanctuary for you. You're my goddess, I I'll be a living sanctuary for sanctuary. You're my goddess, I can do everything. I'll be a living sanctuary for
You're worthy. We told our youth for yet another great Yom to be in your presence. Mishlei 15:8, the sacrifices of the wicked is an abomination, hateful, and exceedingly offensive unto you, Abba Yahuwah. But the prayer of the upright, it is your delight. Romaiah 14:17-18. For the kingdom of Yahuwah is not meat and drink, but uprightness and peace, and joy in the Ruach Kodesh. For he in these things serve Yahush is acceptable to Yahuwah and approved of men. Mishlei 3:4, so shall you find great understanding and high esteem in the sight or judgment of Yahuwah and man, and it is so.
And it is so.
Yehukin and Aleph 5:4-5. For whatsoever is born of Yahuwah overcometh the world, and this is the victory that overcometh the world, even our belief. Who is he that overcometh the world, but he that believeth that Yahush is the son of Yahuwah? Yehukin and Aleph, chapter 2:5-6. But whoever keeps his Torah, truly the Ahab of Yahuwah is perfected in him. By this we know that we are in him. He who says he abides in him ought himself also to walk just as he walked. And he always brought clarity. He always brought clarity, and he always brought understanding. Even if it was rejected, he still brought it. Verse 17, and the world passes away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of Yahuwah abideth forever. Somebody say abideth forever.
Abideth forever.
Say it again, abideth forever.
Abideth forever.
And it is so.
And it is so.
Tehillim 34:15, the eyes of Yahuwah are upon the upright, and his ears are open unto our cry. Verse 17, the upright cry, and Yahuwah heareth, and delivereth them out of all their troubles. Masa 1:8, Acts 1:8, but we shall receive power after that. The Ruach Kodesh has come upon us, and we shall be witnesses unto him both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and Shamora and unto the uttermost part of the earth. And it is so.
And it is so.
Tehillim 1:1, Baruch is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the unrighteous, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the instructions of Abba Yahuwah. And it is so.
And it is so.
Ibram 11:6, but without belief it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to Yahuwah must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. And it is so.
And it is so.
Ayah 33:4, the Ruach Kodesh of Yahuwah hath made me, and the breath of the Almighty hath given me life. Micah 3:8, but truly I am full of power by the Ruach Kodesh of Yahuwah, and of judgment and of might, to declare unto Yaakov his transgression, and to Yasharal his sin. And it is so.
And it is so.
Yehukin and Moshe 11:24, Mark. Therefore I say unto you, what things soever you desire, when you pray, believe that you receive them, and you shall have them. And it is so.
And it is so.
Yehukanan 5:16, and of his fullness have all we, Yasharal, received esteem upon esteem. Verse 17, for the Torah was given by Moshe, prophesying mercy and truth to come to fulfillment through Yahush, our Mashiach. And it is so.
And it is so.
And it is so. Let us have one more song, please. Oh, great.
How great is Yahuwah? Sing with me, how great is Yahuwah? see how great is Yahuwah. Come on, sing with me, how great is Yahuwah. Sing with me, how great is Yahuwah. Follow me, how great is Yahuwah. Singing, oh, how great is Yahuwah. Sing with me, how great is Yahuwah. Follow me, how great is Yahuwah. For the name above all names, for the name above all names, and you are worthy of our praise, and our hearts will sing, and our voice will sing, oh, how great is Yahuwah. For the name above all names, for the name above all names, and you are worthy of our praise, and our hearts will sing, and our voice will sing, oh, how great is Yahuwah. Singing, oh, how great is Yahuwah. Sing with me, how great is Yahuwah. All of me, how great is Yahuwah. Singing, oh, how great is Yahuwah. Sing with me, how great is Yahuwah. All of me, how great is